Mornings with Eloy on Hot 1017, Sonoma County's hit music station. Welcome to the first interview in the Pride Month interview series. I'm so excited because if you follow RuPaul's Drag Race like I do, and you've been watching this current season, you probably fell in love just as quickly as I did with one of the contestants, Heidi and Closet. And we have her here to talk with us. Hi, Heidi. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I hope you're doing well.
I am. Are you doing well and staying safe during this weird time?
Yes, I'm staying both blessed and highly favored during these times. Yes.
I was hoping you would say that. I was hoping you'd say that. Well, Heidi, this interview is all really about the amazingness that you showed on the show. You have so much charisma and personality, and I'm so grateful to get to talk to you. So what I wanted to know first and foremost was if you could tell us a little bit about your background and sort of where you're from and what life was like for you growing up.
Well, I'm from North Carolina, a small country town called Ramsor. Growing up was very difficult, being from a small southern country town, not only being black, but also very effeminate as well. I was made fun of, bullied a lot, but it made me tougher, and I think with all those things, it also showed me to have a sense of humor as well, being able to, if you can laugh at something, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's played a part in who I am today.
Amazing. Well, I mean, your sense of humor really shows through. I mean, you had some of the funniest one-liners and jokes on the show and some of the best moments. And so it kind of leads us into our next question, which is the question of drag. You are known for being a drag queen, and I wanted to know what inspired you to get into drag in the first place.
Oh, goodness. Well, watching Drag Race way back when I was in high school was one of the first things. But the other thing is I have an older twin sister, and she wanted me to come out for her birthday party one year, and I just turned 18 a couple months prior. So it was my first time ever going to any club, and I went, and there was a show, and I saw the show, and the queens were fabulous, and they were just having an amazing time. And I was like, oh my goodness, I want to do that. And then a couple years later, I started, here I am, 5 years later.
And it's totally worked out for you. So you were on the current season of RuPaul's Drag Race, and you actually went home on the recent 11th episode, and you took home Miss Congeniality Award during the season finale. But during your time on the show, as I mentioned earlier, you became an instant fan favorite with your charm and your one-liners and your personality. And I wanted to know, what was the experience like being on the show, and how do you feel like your life has changed since the season started airing, even given the quarantine situation?
Definitely being on the show, it was like stepping into the TV, especially that first day. Everything was so surreal, and I'm just like, what is happening? And it is definitely, it's definitely a pressure cooker in the competition, but it's such an amazing experience. Like, I had such an amazing and wonderful time filming the show. It was just one of my favorite experiences. I'd say it was one of the hardest things, but also one of the funniest things I've ever done, and it was amazing. And I honestly wouldn't change anything in the world for it, but it has really allowed me to reach out to so many people and be a beacon for people just like me, people who may not have the nice things or come from a small background and have had to struggle really their whole life to get what they have. It may not even be a lot. And if you put the work in, you can still be something.
That's so great to hear. You know, I noticed that in addition to the funny moments and, the lip syncs and things like that, but there was a moment of yours on the show that really stuck out to me. And it happened during your exit on the show. So you had thanked RuPaul for seeing something in you, even when, you couldn't see it in yourself. And in that vein, I wanted to know, what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned from being on the show?
Oh, God, the biggest lesson I've learned from the show is to be confident in who you are. And I know it might sound cliche, but it's true. And honestly, confidence really played a factor, especially for me early on in the competition, because it was not fair, even though I thought it was. But, for anyone who wants to be on the show, make sure you go in knowing exactly who you are and don't go in trying to be someone you think they are. They brought you there because who you are, and they want to see that.
Yeah, no, and I noticed that you had said that you felt like it might have been cliche to say, be who you are. But I think one of the things that really drew me to you on the show as well was that there were these moments where I think initially people might have been like, oh, okay, like Heidi has some really funny one-liners and things like that. But then there's these moments of like real humanity on the show, and I feel like there is this type of personality that's able to sell that be who you are mentality, right? And I feel like you did that so well. Like, there was moments where I would get like choked up watching the show because I'm like, Heidi is just like so like purely authentic and so like sweet and pure. It was just such a joy to watch you on the show.
Thank you. I went in and I wanted to be my 100% authentic self, and I can also say that I was, and I'm so happy that so many people have enjoyed it. Because, some people go in and they try to give what they think people are looking for, or they try to show just one aspect of things. And, I went in and I just cleared it all, and people enjoy it, and I'm happy that they did.
Yeah. I have no doubts in my mind, like going forward, especially once the quarantine lifts, that you are probably going to be in high demand in terms of things like gigs and appearances. And I wanted to know, is there something in particular that you're looking forward to with your career now that you've had this platform?
Oh, goodness, yes. For one, I want to meet everyone. I've gained so many fans. I left the Drag Race with 557 followers. I now sit here today with over 380,000.
Well, hey, let's celebrate that.
Yeah, and I want to get out there and meet them. I want to go out there and meet all these people that have become fans of mine, and just get to know them and give some of that love right back to them. Because during this quarantine time, they've given me so much love and affection and support during this, and I want to get out there, entertain, and give that love back to them, and just enjoy it and have an amazing time. And she's got some side projects as well that she's working on, and I really want to, once quarantine's over, really get those rolling. So definitely keep a lookout for those.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it feels like your platform really expanded in such an interesting time, and so I'm really excited to sort of see how there's all these fans and like new admirers with this like pent up excitement, because they've had to kind of almost in a way like sort of repress it because we're quarantined. So it'll be really excited to see everyone's reaction to finally getting a chance to see you in person and getting to meet you.
Oh yeah, I can't wait, because I feel like on the show, like during lip syncs, I did well, but those lip syncs are nothing like a show that I would give normally. It's like I give so much more in like shows. I don't know why I wasn't able to like convey that on the show, but even though I was doing well enough to say, I'm such a better performer, like for show-wise, and I'm ready for people to show that as well.
Well, yeah. Well, I also feel like on the show, I mean, I don't know what it's like, but there's so many elements and so many factors that play, right? You have really important eyes that are watching you that almost in a way kind of like determine your fate. And also you have things like cameras and things like that. So I totally get why that would be a different experience.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely an out-of-body experience. It's like, oh. And then like you're lip syncing, you're like, oh God, I'm scared to go home. It's very that.
Well, I really loved the moment when you had Michelle Visage hair and you kind of like pushed it down a bit, gave some buoyancy. So great. I want to know.
Oh my God, it's so crazy.
Would you ever consider returning for All Stars if you were ever asked to come back?
Honestly, I have to say, if they did ask me to come back, I probably would go back. But I would just have to make sure that, one, I was in a good state of mind, because, it is very taxing on the mind being there. It's very taxing. Because I remember when I first got home, and I was just like, I laid down in my bed, and I didn't realize just how exhausted I was until I laid down in my own bed and just laid there for like 3 days straight. So I definitely make sure that I'm physically, mentally, emotionally set and ready to go. And, one of the biggest things I want to make sure is that I burn the runways down if I do ever make a return, because that was definitely something that I wish I had stronger things with. And just if I ever return, just be ready for my runway.
Well, I cannot wait to see them if you ever return. And also really good on you for knowing that within yourself, to be like, am I not only mentally ready, but physically ready? Like you said, it's taxing. So I think that's a good lesson for listeners to know too. It's not always just like jump at every chance you get. It's also, am I going to be able to fully deliver and also take care of myself? That's really important.
Exactly. Self-care and mental health is very important. You have to make sure that you take care of those things first and then jump at things that you think you can deliver.
Yes, I agree. Heidi, I really want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I'm so honored to get to chat with you. Before we go, I wanted to know, before we go, with it being Pride Month, is there any advice or words of wisdom that you want to share with the LGBTQ plus community?
Yes, don't forget the past, because the past is what our future is built upon. Mm-hmm. And always, always, always be your 100% authentic self, because when you are, that is when your star shines the brightest.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I love that you touch on, being able to look at the past. I think sometimes in our community, it can be easy for people to sort of only look inward or sort of look forward. And that makes sense. I feel like sometimes that can either be like a defense mechanism or whatever, but the past is like the building blocks. It's the foundation. And there's so much that even if times are difficult right now, we are in a different position now than we would have been, 50 years ago or so.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Heidi, thank you so much. It has been such a joy to see you on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I hope that you at some point make it to either Sonoma County or even the San Francisco area, because I would love to see you one day and get to see you perform and burn down the runway.
Yes, I can't wait. I look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Heidi. I hope you're taking care and staying safe, and happy Pride Month.
I am, and you too, and happy Pride Month.
Thank you, Heidi. Have a good rest of your day.
You do the same, darling.
Bye.
Bye.
You can follow Heidi and stay up to date on her shows and career and performances on Twitter and Instagram at Heidi in Closet. That's HeidiNCloset, and get more info at her website at theheidiincloset.com. This is the Pride Month interview series on Mornings with Eloy. It's Hot 101.7.